where I can, as you probably noticed, I always try and dust the mould and pattern out of the flask. 2 reasons. A, if it's in the moulding box, why do you want to dust the box? The coat of the drag is what holds the sand in. If you're covering it in a parting powder, it's not really going to help. And the second reason is so you can remove most of the dust, the parting powder you put on. You really do not need that much. If you're using the proper powders, they're made for the job. You don't need too much. I've seen people put copious amounts on it, and sometimes it's not going to help the finish. I always sieve my sand. There's always bits and pieces in it, you can't help it, it's just the way that it is. My sand gets mulled between every cast. But you obviously always find little bits of metal where you just got splashed. Maybe over here it's pretty awful out there. It's a fair old wind and it's absolutely chucking it down with rain. These two holes have been used for a different type of pattern before, so don't need to go to any great deal of trouble to fill them up. I just whack a bit of sand in them. This is the back of the mould. It doesn't need to be superb. But I'm still going to add a bit of facing sand. The fan's running, but nothing for more than just really to help remove the dust from the passing powder. I don't use talcum powder. It can do some nasty things to your lungs. Have a read up. I use a calcium carbonate powder. Far more friendly for you. I mould sand. I tend not to worry too much if there's or or unmilled sand. There's a lot of powder in it. You can see it's something's quite black in the hand there. And there's black bits. Try not to worry. So you can see some bits of dried sand in there, but it goes in the miller. Doesn't seem to cause too much of a problem. There's my miller. It's nothing more than a glorified cement mixer. When I say glorified, it's a cement mixer. I'll run it up. Normally I have a cover on the top just so I can not have to worry about any sand spilling out. But got a length of chain in there and a large lead filled stainless steel sphere. You can see the sand comes out pretty good. Get the very odd little bit. Again, not too worried. Doesn't cause a problem. As long as you don't get it on your facing part or your sand where you first riddle it up, it'll be fine. randomly vent. Wherever possible, I'll try and do it with the mould in the pattern. I know this is the back of the mould, or the back of the pattern, so it's not going to affect any of the finish. If you were doing the other side, then you've got to be a little bit more careful. But this, I actually try and go right down to the moulding board. This is a pattern I've used for a long time. This moulding box was specifically made for it. Hence probably my reluctance to change it for one of my newer boxes. We'll have to do it sooner or later. But at the moment, things are still good, so that's what they're going to get. Cocktail stick. You'll be surprised what sometimes they can you can find when you're out and about. They come in handy. Now, ideally you'd have alignment pins on this, but this mould is so shallow and I've pulled it so many times now, I just don't bother putting the pins back in. When I first did this mould, I didn't quite design the gate and run system, and it took a bit of experimentation to get it right. But one thing I still neglected to do was just put a dirt trap, is what I best describe it as. Just basically a little place for any loose sand to run off to before it can enter the pattern and do any damage in there. Right, let's see what we've got in the first cast. It's come out alright. If I can, I tend to just try and brush any loose and dry sand out. I don't worry too much, but what I can get, I can get. So. This is one of my early moulding boxes. Still use it, still going strong. No ribs, just sawn cut, and the sand grips it like no one's business. Well, you can see how much effort it took to get out then, and that's after it's been cast, so it's gone through a heat. Top bit, not so easy to get the loose sand out of it, but where I get lumps of sand like this, that just gets chucked. It's all burnt pretty much. There's the finished cast. I think my pouring basin was probably a little bit too large for this, but it's hand cut, and I'm not too worried. It's only going to get melted down again. The swirl patterns like this. That you can see it. Yeah, that kind of question mark pattern. That was actually in the original mould. It's not perfect. It was originally cast off a plaster of Paris pattern, so it was not exactly brilliant, and I've touched it up a few times, but it does the job. Let's see how the second cast came out. That's pretty good. Again, this is quite another early mould. I continue to use it. It's doing alright. But you can see how thin it is. It's really not quite thick enough, to be fair. But it does for this particular type of mould that I use. It works alright. You can see on the cope I had to actually add a little bit extra to give me a bit more depth. But it works okay. It's St George's Cross. So this give or take is roughly what I'm throwing away from the 2 moulds. It possibly could be reprocessed again, but I don't bother. If it's loose, dusty sand like this, and you can see how dry it is, it's burnt, it's just not worth redoing, and I just discard it.